DCG's development update. My name is Balaj, and I'm here with the platform, the core, and the mobile teams, and we are going to give you an update of what happened in the past 2 weeks. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback, please let us know in the comments, in the comment section below. And if you have a question, please use a question prefix so we can answer them in the dedicated Q&A session at the end. We are planning this session for 60 minutes, and we will start with the platform teams. So without further ado, let's start with Sam.
Woohoo! It is me, Sam. Okay, so over the last 2 weeks, we released 1.8. That was a big moment for us because it was released on time. I worked on that with Ivan. I've also worked on tokens before and after that. Paul has been working on Dash.io tool. Odysseus and Lukash have been working on StateSync, and myself and Evgeny have been working on GroveDB. And we immediately go to WASM, which was not in the slide. So who did WASM?
I did a bit,
Lukash.
yeah. But
Okay.
it's basically the status is on hold because we did some cleanup of what we did in the previous sprint to prepare it for merging. And then I switched to TenderDash. So in terms of WASM, really nothing changed except for some like quality of the code, but no significant improvements in terms of the results of the POC, and we don't expect any. The goal right now is just to get it merged and not lose that work. So that's it. And in TenderDash, I did some intensive maintenance, so multiple dependencies updated. Some of them required a bit work. Some others were just like checking if all tests pass and merging that. But it's done and waiting for release in the next version. But the main reason why I switched over to TenderDash is on the next slide, which is StateSync. Because of the can I see next slide, Balazs? Yeah, thanks. So Odi reported that we have StateSync on his side ready. He will tell you more about that. So we started to integrate it into TenderDash. So just a short introduction. What's the problem we are trying to solve? So basically right now, when you start a new master node for the platform, it needs to sync the stage. So it needs to go through all blocks of the layer 2 blockchain and process them by one. And it takes already multiple hours and it's growing. So the solution we are doing is a state synchronization. So instead of processing all blocks one by one, we just dump the state information, transfer it over the network using peer-to-peer protocol, and let's simplify it to extract it on the node, and then we can use this state to start drive. So right now, in terms of TenderDash, we need that new ABCI endpoint that was implemented, is in progress or in final integration stage. Also, the library for us needed to be updated. And we found some bug in quorum verify in the Dash-D Go, which is an Golang library for the Dash core, where quorum verify didn't work, so it's already fixed and released in Dash-D Go 0.2061. And so that's more or less it on my side. And Odi, do you want to go next?
Yes, of course. So as Lukash mentioned, the GroveDB initial state sync implementation is completed. So we conducted the first tests with the new ABCI endpoints, sorry, in platform side, and we encountered. So we successfully synced entirely the GroveDB into the new target node, and before being able to continue, the platform state field needs to be reconstructed. So as Lukasz mentioned, those data are provided with the new endpoint, which is currently under development. Once this is completed, we have identified more optimization opportunities in GroveDB side. For example, we could pack several chunks into one because we have noticed that many subtrees are very often small ones. So in order to avoid many fetch and apply, we can pack them and do it in one operation. So this will be the second step. Thanks for listening.
Paul, would you continue, please?
Sure. Hello, guys. VE 0.8 of Dash Evo tool is ready for release. We are just having an issue with the GitHub release flow. So as soon as that is cleared up, that will be released. Must be within the next day, I'm assuming. This release has basically a lot of cleaning up in the UI and UX, along with much improved voting. Yeah, like I did a lot of stuff around voting to just make it a lot easier to use and stuff. I added identity sorting and ordering on the identity screen. A few people requested that. Yvonne fixed the bug in platform so that you can now you can now use your owner key to do withdrawals. And yeah, so you can use Dash Evo tool for that now. And the future plans for V0.9, we're going to add some screens for fungible tokens, which Sam has been working on. You'll be able to do, lots of different things there. And Ross, our internal graphic guy, is basically finishing up designs for the new UI, which will probably come in V1. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And GroveDB.
Yes. So,
Sam.
2 weeks ago, I was talking about big sum trees, count trees. Well, I actually really only talked about those two, but I got around to finishing all that code. I also wrote count sum trees because I realized that to do an average, all you needed was the count and the sum. So if we combine those two, we could get average trees. So I wrote those 3 types of trees. Those are like core functionality that we can have in our system. So it's really cool that those are written now. I refactored everything to use a tree type instead of is sum tree. We used to just use a bool to say if we were using a sum tree. Now that we have like 5 different types of trees, it's better to use tree type instead of is sum tree. I also updated RocksDB, and I updated tons of internal libraries that we're using and verified that everything was working properly. So GroveDB is in a good state right now. Evgeny, I didn't write it here, but Evgeny also has been working on cleaning things up there, refactoring the code, and he has a PR that we're about to merge in as well that we just verified worked properly.
Thank
wow,
you.
dash made right in the middle. Okay, cool. Ivan, you want to do this single node local network?
Yeah, so we did some progress on this. I will remind that this task is about to run only one node when you're starting the local network, so which is much faster and takes much less resources. Yeah, we fixed the issue in Mac OS when we had the 1 minute delay when you're starting, and we had the last recent issue was in CI that it also takes 1 minute for something what we don't not sure yet what, and then Kostya from the core he refactored the logic. So now I would say change the approach, how this thing is working from the core side. So I guess it should solve some issues, but it will require some additional work next sprint to update the code on platform side, and we will continue testing. Yeah, seems like your stuff, Sam, at the top at least.
I was muted. Sorry. Yeah. Well, some of them are mine. Some I think one of these is yours too. Anyways, I'll just go through the list. So, Quizzy, hello Quizzy, if you're listening, was pretty adamant in our community that we needed to distribute the pre-funded specialized balances. Those are the so whenever you try to get a name, you spend a 0.2 dash. And we had forgotten, well, yes, pretty much forgotten, even though it was a lot of work, to actually give those out as fees to the Evo nodes. But we wrote that into the 1.8 release. So after every vote, that whatever is left of the 0.2, these are actually like used to pay for fees in the system. And then when they're done being used, then they can completely distribute. So that's done. Also, all those that have been accumulated up till now will also distribute as soon as as soon as it activates in about 9 days from now. We also had an issue when we were purchasing mutable NFTs. Normally, NFTs should not be mutable, but there are some situations where you might want to have like a mutable field on a document. The majority of the document is immutable, but one field like a note is mutable. In that case, you know, you can do it. Anyway, so that's been fixed. Ivan wrote this fail to deserialize consensus error. And also he did fixing when there was more than one key was returned when we were expecting only one result.
That's about the withdrawal with owner key. Yeah.
Yep. And we solved the owner key withdrawal problem. And we upgraded BLS to a recent version. BLS is something that we use to verify blocks and verify, basically it's one of our main cryptography libraries. It wasn't so much a recent version, it's more that we switched from a C++ version to a Rust version. And that does carry with it an increase in, like it improves our compilation time. And it might improve the speed at which the verification happens as well, just very slightly. Okay, cool. Let's move on. So 2.0 tokens. There was tons in the last few reviews explaining like what we were doing. So I'm just saying like extra work that's done. We built these additional queries to query if the state has been paused for a token or for multiple tokens at once. You can say like, oh, these 3 tokens, are any of them paused? Or these 100 tokens, are any of them paused? Could be interesting for like exchanges to generally like every so often check to see if a token is paused. What is the token total supply and aggregate balance? So the system basically maintains that all tokens must match all their supply. Like all the user aggregated balance of all tokens must match all of the supply. But this is an extra call to make basically you audit it. You can say, give me all the aggregated balance of all the users, give me all the total supply that we're supposed to have, and then you get a proof that the state is actually like that, and then you can check yourself. Also, we have multi-sig, so that means that well, stateful multi-sig, it means that people can see what actions are being currently made by their group members. So, for example, if I'm in a group with me, Balázs, and Ivan, and it requires all 3 of us to agree to an action, if Balázs says, "Hello, I'd like to mint 1,000 tokens," but he needs the other 2 of us to agree, well, we can query that, like, I can query when I log in the morning when I wake up, what has my group tried to do? And then I see, oh, Balázs is trying to mint 1,000 tokens. And then basically I say, yes, I want to do that. Then I ping Ivan, come on, Ivan, let's agree to this. And he also agrees, and then it becomes a completed group action. And yeah, that's basically how that works. Let's move on. For token tasks, oh yeah, these are some things we did. We're using the big sum trees to validate all aggregate user token balances, matches all the supplies. We've done that. We had to write the verification methods for all queries. That takes forever. That's a really, really thankless task. Every single query has a proof validation behind it, and yeah, it all has to be written out. Yeah, so we also have to, when you submit a token state transition to the system, if you have history turned on, then you get back a historical token document proof that your state transition actually went through. If it's off, you just receive the change proof because you're not keeping history. So those things are done. And Ivan is working on integrating tokens to the RS SDK right now. I'm working on validation of data contract update. So like some kind of weird scenarios that can occur, like, okay, I wanted to update my group that I'm in to add an extra member. Is that allowed? Is that not allowed? I wanted to update the tokens. Is that like the token configuration to allow a different group to perform the action? Is that allowed, not allowed? So I'm currently working on some like token configuration updates. Once I'm done with that, actually, then we're going to be starting to test tokens quite a lot. And we have to, and there are some extra features that I want to write. For example, I want to create a token search contract so that users can basically search based off of keywords for the tokens they care about. For example, if they just go into the system and they say, hey, I'd like to get all stable coins, it will give them back stable coins probably by number of likes or something like that. if they want to say, give me all tokens that are associated with personalities, that would happen, or different based off of different types of token and keywords, they can basically search the system for the tokens that they want. So it'll be a nice little directory list. Cool. Core team time.
Alrighty. The big thing I wanted to talk about today was the imminent release of 22.1 RC1. We got that tagged over the weekend and have started building it. So I expect that should be out hopefully today. I should be able to get it out today. If not today, I better do it tomorrow. But that's the big thing. We've just been moving forward with V23 and or maybe V22.2 development. It just depends what all gets merged, whether we'll do a 22.2 in another month or two, or if we'll just move on for V23. Assume UTXO, some progress has been made. A good chunk of backports were done in this past set. It was a relatively slower time frame, but still decent progress was made. A lot more effort was made on stuff like the couple of dips that we have in review or in writing right now. So fewer PRs were merged, but we're making progress on some of that more specification and behind the scenes kind of stuff. But RC1 should be out in the near future, and soon after that, I expect 22.1 to be released, which of course includes the V2 P2P protocol as well as a bunch of other cool changes. So we can move on to the next slide. It's just the spreadsheet. So we did make decent progress on some backports. Most of those were V23 backports, I believe. But we are, as every sprint, making solid backport progress. We can move on to the next slide. You can see through here, looks like 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 of the PRs merged were related to backports. Some other small changes. Constantine implemented a newer RPC for getting instance unlocks, as well as added an option to get best chain lock to get the kind of raw data, which would be similar to what you would see over ZMQ. So yeah, some cool stuff. All right, I think that is a wrap for core, and we can move on to mobile.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so on the Android side, we're getting really close to getting our next version 11.1 out. We're just waiting for a few translations. Most of the orange items you see there are wrapping up their final reviews. So you can expect that version coming out shortly in the next day or two. One of the feature-related pieces of that is the top-up function. So this allows you to top up your credit balance if you're a heavy user, and in some cases when you, if for example your contested username was not accepted or not approved, in that situation you'd have to do a top up to do another request. So that's a rare circumstance, but certainly one that should be addressed. We are still waiting and kind of unfortunately deprioritizing the invitation changes that need to be done. Just had some other priorities that we needed to get out the door first, but that work has actually just started today. And an API change with Coinbase was finished as well. So that was preventing dash transfers from occurring. All right, and then on the iOS side, for the next slide, we had a few different issues relating to the Dash Pay build on compilation errors. That was fixed, so that allowed us to get some builds out for testing of the contract requests and identity sync in particular. Document requests are still in progress. Had a small change relating to warning message, and there's a UI improvement that combines the transactions. Since there's so many CoinJoin transactions, this collapses them so it doesn't congest the home screen. And username voting, the final results, that's also actually just about done now in the current sprint. And in addition to Android, we had the same API change that needed to be done for transfers of Dash. And there was also a small bug relating to the buy Dash feature. So yeah, that's it for Android and iOS. Just from a mobile standpoint in general, I did want to just remind the community that we have a large backlog of UI redesigns across pretty much the whole app. Would love to have contributors, on the development side to help implement those. So if anyone does have an interest in getting involved there, please do reach out to me directly, either on Discord or email, and yeah, we can share that with you. So that's it from my side.
All right, thank you very much. So, questions. I see no questions on the comment section below. If you have any question or feedback, let us know in Discord. Please reach out and we'll be happy to answer. Anything else from the team before we wrap up? If nothing else, then thank you very much. See you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye. And I need to find the stop streaming button.